On May 15, 2025, the U.S. Supreme Court is scheduled to hear arguments in a pivotal case concerning President Trump's executive order aimed at limiting birthright citizenship and the broader issue of judicial authority. The case, involving the Trump administration and several plaintiffs, addresses whether federal district courts have the power to issue nationwide injunctions that halt federal policies across the country. The outcome could significantly influence the balance of power between the executive branch and the judiciary. President Trump's executive order, signed on January 20, 2025, seeks to redefine the interpretation of the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. The order asserts that children born in the U.S. to non-citizen parents, including those on temporary visas, should not automatically receive U.S. citizenship. This move has faced legal challenges from multiple states and civil rights organizations, arguing that the order contradicts established constitutional principles and Supreme Court precedents. Lower courts have issued preliminary injunctions blocking the enforcement of the executive order, citing its potential unconstitutionality. The Trump administration contends that these nationwide injunctions overstep judicial authority and disrupt the implementation of federal policies. The Supreme Court's decision to hear the case will focus on the legitimacy of such broad judicial orders and their implications for executive actions. Legal experts anticipate that the court's ruling could reshape the landscape of judicial power, particularly concerning the scope of injunctions that lower courts can issue. Limiting nationwide injunctions could curtail the ability of courts to block federal policies on a national scale, thereby enhancing the executive branch's authority. Conversely, upholding the current practice would reinforce the judiciary's role in overseeing and potentially restraining executive actions. The case has garnered significant attention due to its potential to impact immigration policy and the interpretation of constitutional rights. Advocacy groups emphasize the importance of maintaining constitutional protections for all individuals born in the United States, regardless of their parents' immigration status. They argue that the executive order undermines the foundational principles of equality and justice, enshrined in the 14th Amendment. As the Supreme Court prepares to deliberate on this case, the nation anticipates a decision that could have far-reaching consequences for the interpretation of citizenship laws and the balance of powers within the federal government. The ruling will likely influence future legal challenges and set precedents for the scope of executive authority and judicial review. Related interesting fact: the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause, which grants birthright citizenship, was ratified in 1868 to ensure that formerly enslaved individuals and their descendants were recognized as U.S. citizens. The clause has been a cornerstone in American civil rights law, affirming the principle that anyone born on U.S. soil is entitled to citizenship, with very few exceptions.